not an anythinger. I don't have any talents.
You just daily putting tape over your mouth. Every day. Just every morning, a different colored tape right over your mouth. I'd pay for that. Fully clothed, outside, nothing sensual, just tape.
You can leave now.
This is my hotel. I paid for this motherfucker. You can leave now.
She built an audience by pretending to be the world's worst mom.
There is nothing more embarrassing than walking around with one of these. Everyone knows how it got there. You know what you did.
And now the internet swears she actually is one. In late 2020, Bobbi Althoff popped up on TikTok with a deadpan beige aesthetic parody of the Instagram Perfect Mom.
I think I posted my first video November of 2020.
And was that planned? Did you think to yourself, TikTok celebrity, here I come?
Yes.
I'm doing it?
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, there was a banana. Were you dancing with a banana?
What's really funny is that didn't go viral. That was just a video I put up that had like barely any views.
Only neutrals for her baby, toys of the earth, and even naming her daughter Richard, just to mess with people's heads.
I created a character of a person who was just only worried about looks. I was like, I only let my daughter wear neutrals. I only let her play with toys that are of the earth and stuff. And like, I think I even called it like a parody of a really bad mom was like my bio at the time. And then I just went, that was it. That was like the start.
It was supposed to be satire. Moms loved it. It was absurd, self-aware, and, if you were in on the joke, kind of brilliant. But somewhere between the skits, the podcast launches, and the celebrity interviews, the joke stopped being funny. She went from playing a bad mom to being called one for real.
You need a little bit of seasoning. You ain't got no seasoning, man. You like a plain piece of chicken just on the thing, you pull it off, and then you serve the dish. You need some motherfucking seasoning, man.
This transformation was undeniable that even made her defenders start second-guessing. So how does someone go from a relatable parody to public enemy #1 in the parenting department? This is the story of how Bobbi Althoff's character escaped the screen and took over her real life. Before the Drake interviews, before the divorce headlines, before the club videos, Bobbi Althoff was just another young mom scrolling TikTok looking for a way to stand out. Her breakthrough? A character so absurdly committed to the Instagram perfect mother trope that it bordered on performance art. She called it a parody of a really bad mom. The rules of this fictional motherhood were as ridiculous as they were specific. Her infant could only wear neutral colors, her toys had to be of the earth, no bright plastics allowed, and she casually referred to her baby as Richard, a traditionally male name that left new viewers wondering if they'd missed the punchline. The delivery was stone-faced, no wink to the audience, no just kidding energy. If you knew it was satire, you laughed. If you didn't, you might actually think she was serious. And that was the magic at first. Most of her audience were moms who got it. They'd seen the beige nurseries and Pinterest-perfect snack plates in real life, and Bobbi's over-the-top commitment to the bit was a refreshing roast of influencer culture. By 2021, she'd racked up millions of views and a loyal following of these in-on-the-joke moms. But even in those early days, the line between character and reality was blurry. The parody was so dry that strangers dropping into her videos couldn't always tell what was real and what wasn't. As one fan put it, her character switching is pretty subtle. I still don't know what's an act and what's not. That confusion would become the ticking time bomb in Bobbi's career. Because when the jokes stopped landing, the audience wouldn't just turn on the character, they'd turn on her. July 2023. This is the month Bobbi's career detonated, both in the best and worst ways. It started when Drake followed her on Instagram. A random scroll, a double tap, and suddenly, Bobbi saw the kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that could take her from TikTok niche to mainstream name.
Drake liked one of the videos I had uploaded and he followed me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna like shoot my shot to Drake. I don't know how this, I thought the chance of him replying was like a 1%, and then the chance of him saying yes was like 0.000. I was like, there's no way. I said, when are you gonna come on my podcast?
And he just was
he said,
game right away.
He was ready to do it. I flew out there like, I think 3 days later.
Wow. And then you're off to the races. Now you can kind of get anybody you want.
Yeah.
She didn't wait. She sent a DM asking if he'd come on her podcast, and he said yes. Within 48 hours, she was on a flight to Memphis to meet him. The catch? Those dates lined up exactly with her eldest daughter's first birthday. During the interview, shot in Drake's own bed for maximum "what am I watching" energy, Bobbi mentioned it casually, almost like she was testing how it would land. Drake didn't miss. He hit back instantly. "You missed your daughter's first birthday to be here?"
You missed your daughter's first birthday
to be here.
Dark.
Yeah, horrible parenting. It was the kind of moment that makes the internet stop, rewind, and replay. Not only was it a celebrity calling her out in real time, but it fit perfectly into the bad mom label she'd once worn ironically. Even for the people defending her, a seed had been planted. Maybe this wasn't just a bit anymore. Maybe she really was the kind of mom who'd put fame before family, and once that idea was out there, every future move would be judged through that lens. If the Drake interview planted the seed, what happened next poured gasoline on it. Not long after that viral moment, an older Bobbi clip resurfaced. One where she's on camera, straight-faced, berating her husband for not making enough money. In the skit,
My husband says he's upset with me because, in his words, "Sweetie, you need to stop spending so much money on DoorDash. Ordering it 3 times a day is not appropriate, and we need to start living within our means. Honey, it sounds like you have an income problem, not that I have a spending problem. Start earning more money and we won't have these issues."
she complains about being scolded for ordering DoorDash 3 times a day. Her solution: take his credit card, rack up $8,000 on a spur-of-the-moment vacation, and smugly tell him, "Make more money, darling."
So I took his credit card that we share and I booked a vacation for my daughter Richard and I. We're staying in a hotel tonight and I hope he enjoys that I charged $8,000 to his credit card. Make more money, darling.
When this video first came out, fans saw it as dark comedy, but now, after the Drake birthday drama, it hit differently. Was it really just a bit, or was this a peek at how she actually treated the people closest to her? Then came the bombshell: divorce papers, filed by her husband, Corey, with the official separation date listed as July 4th, 2023, the same month she skipped her daughter's birthday to fly out and meet Drake. The timing was brutal for her image. In the court of public opinion, it looked like she traded her marriage and family stability for a shot at celebrity. Rumors exploded. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports even DM'd her directly, asking if she hooked up with Drake and got divorced. She denied it. But by then, speculation had a life of its own.
I texted her, I'm like, hey, I'm hearing you slept with Drake and you got divorced. Is that true? Kind of joking, like, she's like, off the record? No, not true. And something else.
Boxer Ryan Garcia, mid-interview, blurted out, "Bobbi effed Drake, and that's why she got a divorce." It was said as a joke, but in the internet's echo chamber, it became another piece of evidence. Even her defenders started running out of excuses. As one comment put it, "Something tells me the husband is probably a quality guy, just not enough for her." By the end of 2023, the parody bad mom label wasn't a cute inside joke anymore. To a growing chunk of the internet, Bobbi had proven it true, willing to burn her personal life down if it meant leveling up her fame. After the divorce news broke, Bobbi could have leaned into a devoted single mom rebrand. Quiet, grounded, focused on her kids. She didn't. Instead, her public image did a hard pivot. Out were the TikTok skits in neutral tones. In came paparazzi-like clips of her clubbing with rappers, athletes, and Hollywood nightlife regulars. One of the most infamous? A video of her being carried, limp and seemingly intoxicated, out of a bar by NBA player Sean, before both of them slid into an SUV and disappeared into the night. The optics were devastating. Critics already thought she'd left her family behind for clout. Now the receipts looked like she was spending her nights getting hauled out of clubs while her kids were at home. Even people who once found her skits harmless were recoiling. The bad mom label had crossed from internet joke to full-blown character assassination, and this time she'd handed her critics the perfect ammo. Bobbi tried to clap back. On Instagram, she posted glamorous Miami girls trip photos, adding the defensive caption, "Before any of you mother effers start, my baby is literally on my boot." Meant to shut down the haters, it only made things worse. People mocked it, screenshots spread, and she eventually deleted the post. By this point, the narrative was locked in. Every new image, every trip, every night out became proof to her critics that the bad mom wasn't an act anymore. It was the brand. By now, Bobbi was in damage control mode. But the problem was, every move she made seemed to pour fuel on the fire. The Miami Girls trip caption was just the start, when people flooded her comments asking, "Who's watching your kids?" She thought she was being clever with her, "My baby is literally on my boot" line. Instead, it became a meme. proof in the eyes of her critics that she was more interested in clapping back than actually addressing concerns. She tried other tactics too. In interviews, she'd lean into self-deprecating humor, suggesting her party girl behavior was just part of being single after marriage. On her podcast, she half-joked about maybe sleeping around now that she was free, saying she hadn't done it yet, but might have it in me later. It was meant to sound lighthearted, but for critics already primed to see her as a reckless mom, it was confirmation that parenting wasn't her top priority. Even her more serious attempts to humanize herself fell flat. She spoke openly about social anxiety, insisting her detached persona wasn't fully a character but part of who she was. While some sympathized, many saw it as a convenient excuse, especially after she booked a live comedy tour and bombed on stage. As one comment put it, "If you're so socially awkward, then don't book a tour." She just wanted money by any means. The pattern was clear. Bobbi's explanations weren't changing minds. They were becoming punchlines. The internet had decided she'd gone from fake bad mom to real bad mom, and no amount of PR polish was going to scrub that label away. And as her personal brand eroded, the damage began showing up where it hurt most: her career. The backlash wasn't just living in the comment sections anymore, it was bleeding into her numbers. At her peak, the Really Good podcast was pulling astronomical views. The Drake episode alone racked up hundreds of millions across platforms. But once the novelty wore off and the bad mom narrative took over, the audience started bailing. By early 2024, most episodes were struggling to crack 40,000 views, a fraction of her former reach. The only time clips went viral now when guests roasted her.
Do you think I'm pretty?
No.
You look like somebody that could play on a scary movie, but you don't survive.
Viewers weren't tuning in to hear Bobbi interview celebrities anymore. They were showing up to watch her get humbled. Offset mocking her fashion choices, guests calling out her lack of preparation, entire threads dedicated to celebrating when she looked caught off guard or embarrassed. What started as a deadpan bit was now read as arrogance, and audiences were loving watching it backfire. Her live tour with comedian Funny Marco was supposed to be a new revenue stream. Instead, it was a public flop. Fans expecting a sharp, funny stage show got the same low-energy, awkward persona, only without the editing. Marco tried to salvage it, even bringing in professional writers, but Bobbi wouldn't budge from her style. Shows were quietly canceled, reviews were brutal, and the tour's failure became yet another talking point for people who thought she was in it only for the money. When she finally addressed the criticism, citing debilitating social anxiety, it didn't land as a vulnerable moment. To many, it sounded like an excuse for lack of effort, and in the court of public opinion, that fit perfectly with the existing narrative. She wasn't just a bad mom, she was a bad professional too. By now, her rise and fall had become a cautionary tale in real time. The audience that once found her quirky and relatable was now openly rooting for her to fail. And for Bobbi Althoff, the real punchline was that the role she once played for laughs had become the career-ending truth people believed. The real death blow to Bobbi's career wasn't just the drop in views, it was the way her audience turned from confused fans to active critics. When she first started, most people watching her got the joke. The parody bad mom persona was understood as a character. Moms laughed because they recognized the exaggerated influencer tropes she was mocking. Even after the Drake birthday backlash, there were still defenders who said, if she were a dad, no one would care. Others argued that missing a 1-year-old's birthday wasn't a big deal, that she could celebrate another day and the kid wouldn't remember. But as more stories and clips surfaced, the $8,000 credit card vacation, the divorce timing, the clubbing videos, paint a clear picture of who she has become. Even her supposed allies started peeling away. Those who once said it's just a character admitted they couldn't tell where the act ended and the real Bobbi began. And once people believed the real version matched the worst traits of her parody, the satire stopped being funny. It just looked like reality. Comment after comment revealed the same sentiment. They weren't just done watching her. They wanted her to lose. They wanted the numbers to tank, the opportunities to dry up, and for her to feel the sting of public rejection. This wasn't just falling out of favor, it was a full-blown reversal, where the audience that built her career was now dismantling it in real time. Bobbi Althoff's story began as a satire about superficial parenting, a clever bit meant to poke fun at Instagram moms who care more about aesthetics than their kids. It worked because it was absurd, because it wasn't real. But over time, the performance blurred into reality. Missing her daughter's first birthday for the Drake interview stopped being a joke. The $8,000 credit card stunt stopped being a skit. The divorce timing, the late night clubbing, the maybe I'll sleep around podcast banter, each moment stacked on top of the last until people no longer saw a character. They saw a woman living out the very traits she once exaggerated for laughs. By the time she tried to explain herself, it didn't matter. Every defense sounded like deflection. Every public appearance reinforced the bad mom image. And in the eyes of the internet, she wasn't a satirist anymore. She was the subject of her own satire. Her rise was meteoric, her fall even faster. The moms who once laughed with her were now the ones calling her selfish. The fans who once boosted her numbers now clicked to watch her get roasted. And the punchline? She didn't just lose her audience, she lost the one thing her persona was built to mock, the illusion of being in control of the narrative. In the end, Bobbi Althoff didn't just play a bad mom on TikTok. She convinced the world she really was one. And that's the kind of brand transformation you can't PR your way out of.